Hi, I'm Wallissimo, and today is week 3 of me attempting to break out of my writing slump. I've already made 2 videos detailing my various attempts at this process, which I will link down below. I'm thinking about making it into a playlist. We'll see. If you don't have the time to go and watch those videos, basically, I'm in a writing slump, and a few weeks ago, I wrote down all the reasons that I thought might be contributing to the slump, and they kind of sorted themselves into 2 separate categories. A category of things that were external to the story itself, the story being Project HR, that's the story I'm having trouble with right now, and then a category of things that were more internal to the story. The first week I dealt with an internal issue, the issue itself being that I felt like I didn't really understand my main character, and last week I dealt with an external issue, the issue being that I felt like I didn't have an organized, welcoming writing space. This week we are returning to a more internal issue, and I'm gonna be completely honest, it's one that I've been putting off all week. It's literally Monday. I literally have one day to do this, reflect on it, film this video, edit it, and get it uploaded. So we're gonna see how quality this is, or not quality it is. Basically, the issue I'm gonna try and tackle today is the fact that I feel like even though I'm still in the start of my story, I've gotten off track somewhere, and the pages I've already written, there's just so many little things wrong with them. I have this theoretical idea in my head that if I go through the first 5 chapters that I have already written for this story and I just make a comment anytime I see something that I have an issue with, and I just can acknowledge the issues, then maybe I don't need to spend so much time trying to perfect them right now. Maybe all it needs is just acknowledgement. So that's what I'm gonna try and do today. I'm not gonna try and get any words in the story. I just need to open up the Scrivener document, which is not something I've done in a long time, because that is how, like, get away from me I am about this story right now. So I'm gonna try and open up the Scrivener document and just reread everything I've written, reacclimate into the story, and acknowledge all the things that I have that are potentially bothering me and preventing me from continuing on. So that's the goal for the next couple of hours. In order to make my life a little bit more comfortable, I'm not even at my writing desk because I'm trying to trick my brain into being like, look, you're not even writing. This isn't even writing. This is so low key, it's so casual. And to like make it even more casual, I currently have the US Open on in the background. I'm going to be watching that as I do this. Again, just as a way of tricking the brain of being like, this isn't even work. We're just having a good time. This is just for fun. We're gonna see if I'm that easily tricked or not. Let's hop right on into it. Okay. This is why I didn't want to open up the document. I opened up my document for the first time in who knows how long. And in order to finish this story by my personal deadline, my daily writing goal is 9,968 words. So, it's okay. We're gonna move past that. We have a ring light, but then behind the ring light, we have a tennis match occurring. We're just gonna go in. We're gonna go in and we're just gonna start critiquing. Full editor mode. We're gonna tell ourselves that this isn't even our story. This is someone else's story. And actually that's perfect because I've spent all morning beta reading for people and like responding to comments I've left on other people's stories. So I'm definitely in editor mode right now. So you call it procrastination waiting a whole week to do this. I call it excellent timing. Scrolling all the way back to the beginning. Okay, so I already have forgotten that I'd already kind of done this with the first chapter a couple of months ago. Not even a couple of months ago. Last month, on August 9th, I already went through the first chapter and did this. So 20% of my work is done for me. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna read those comments, acknowledge them, and then keep going. But that's great. 20% of it's already done. Theoretically, we'll see. Oh, yeah. The tennis was a bad idea. I'm so distracted. Okay, this is so painful. I really, really need to find the mindset of this isn't my own work, because I am in so much pain right now. Just the very act of reading this is like agonizing, and that's wild. That is wild to me that I have such a mental block on this that I can't even get into an editing headspace with it. It is just like, get it away from me. I don't even want to look at it. This is wild, and I'm kind of at a loss of what the heck do I do when it's this bad. I have no idea. I'm gonna watch tennis. I'm very intrigued. I've left myself a comment that's actually really interesting. Basically, reworking how a certain character is introduced right to the start of the story, which I felt has always been quite clunky, and in fact, for the longest time I've been debating whether even this character deserves a spot in the story, and one of the comments I left myself back in August was actually really helpful, saying introduce them through action rather than explanation, and then I gave examples of the type of action, which is helpful, and then also tied in the character introduction into one of my main character's main traits. How she interacts with this character in this first scene is laying the groundwork for her baseline character before she goes through the kind of trauma of the opening scene. So yeah, that's really interesting. August Wallace was making some good points. Okay, this is my last interjection before I'm gonna shut this camera off and really try and work, because I think the camera at this point is distracting me. But one thing I did back in August that I'm gonna try and also do here is that I highlighted sentences not just that I thought needed fixing, but sentences that I really liked, and that had not been my intention coming into today. I hadn't planned on being nice to myself at all, but August Wallace was, so I will attempt to be here as well. But yeah, you're getting turned off because you are not being helpful right now. Okay, so the tennis match I was watching is over. Wow, that sun is extremely bright. And I managed to get through 3 out of the 5 chapters that I needed to read and critique. My main takeaway is that it's not nearly as bad as I thought it was. I mean, we're still struggling with the issue that every single time I read this gosh darn story, I fall asleep. That doesn't bode well, I'm going to admit. But the more I read it, the less I was commenting and the more I was just kind of reading it and enjoying it-ish, kind of. It is the next couple of chapters that I am a little bit nervous for, because I think it's there that I messed up. I forget who it was, but in all my years on AuthorTube, I've seen a lot of videos about writer's block. And one quote that kind of stuck out with me was that writer's block happens when behind you, you know you've done something wrong and you have to find out what that is before you can really move forward. And I think during this reread, I'm approaching the section in which I did something wrong. I think I introduced a character incorrectly or didn't spend enough time in a certain place before really jump-starting the plot. Hopefully upon this reread, I will kind of magically, intuitively understand what the issue is. It's asking a lot. But for now, I'm on a walk through the woods just to get some fresh air, clear my mind, and then this evening I'll go and dive back into the last 2 chapters that I have to do. I will say, even though this camera can be distracting during the moments in which I'm trying to get through the critique and the read of my work, if I did not need to get a video out tomorrow, I wouldn't have done any of this. So hats off to this part of the process, I guess. Anyway. Okay, I have finished all of the chapters that I set out to work on. Turns out I had actually written 6 chapters, not 5. That was a surprise. It's amazing the things you forget about your own story when you don't go into it for a month. I did a lot of the final bits of the critique this morning at 5 a.m. because Anna Robbins is hosting a 5 a.m. writing challenge in the Discord. Because I was so out of it and so tired, a lot of my final comments were just, no, rethink. I don't like this. They were all very direct, but I got it all done, so that's good. As for reflecting on how this whole process helped or didn't help, I have a few thoughts. I definitely did notice a decline in the next 3 chapters that I worked on after I went on that walk. I feel like my first 3 chapters are actually quite solid. They are giving what I want them to give. I like the way my sentences are constructed. And then we move into the 3 chapters after that and everything just kind of starts slowly devolving. I'm just not totally sure about the choices that I have. Holy crap. The biggest spider. Are you kidding me? If you are terrified of spiders, look away. Oh, that thing is massive. Okay, we're just gonna pretend like that huge creature of death is not right there. Anyway, long story short, I don't know if I've fully identified where I went wrong. It could just be that the level of writing itself is bothering me, or it could also be that certain characters weren't introduced correctly, yada yada yada. And this is where I'm at an impasse. Because right now, my instincts are telling me to just go all the way back to the beginning and start over and start from, not from scratch. There isn't that much to fix in the first 3 chapters, and so part of me is just like, okay, start from the very beginning, fix what needs to be fixed in those chapters, and then starting at chapter 4, really kind of go back down to studs and start over. The spider is moving. Oh my god, it's so huge. But there is a fear that I have that I'm gonna do all this work, I'm gonna go back, fix all these issues, rework chapters 4 through 6, and then hit the spot that I've hit right now and still not be able to continue. So I'm at a crossroads, I guess. I don't even know how to phrase it. Doing a little bit of a spoiler here, my plan for the next week is to do some dedicated writing time every single day. That's an external factor I'm trying to battle, is this idea that I don't have enough discipline, and my attempt to combat that is to pick a 2-hour slot every single day and no excuse, just sit down and write. As I mentioned earlier, I have been trying to do Anna Robbins' 5 a.m. writing challenge, but I've quickly, after 2 days, realized that's just not going to work for me. My brain is not at a level that it needs to be at 5 a.m., so I have to pick a different set of hours. So technically tomorrow I will be starting this new writing experiment, which theoretically will be a vlog. I'm just kind of frozen right now because I don't know if tomorrow I should sit down for 2 hours and just try and keep writing from the end of chapter 6 starting into chapter 7, or if I start over and I go all the way back to the beginning. I'm worried for many reasons, but mainly I'm worried that if I just keep going at chapter 7, I'm just gonna dig myself further into this slump, and because of like the sunk cost fallacy, it's gonna get even harder and harder to eventually go back if I have to. But I'm also worried that if I go back, that it's just me running away from continuing forward. So I wish I had better insights over this whole process of this week of critiquing my own work. I feel like it was very helpful in just reminding myself that I do have a good foundation, especially the first 3 chapters. I do find them quite strong, and as I was reading, I do feel like I have a better grasp now of my main character thanks to the work that I started a couple weeks ago and have been kind of continuing forward. And so there are moments where I recognize that she wasn't acting quite like herself, and so I do feel like I could go and fix those now. But the fact that the end result of this whole process is me just wanting to go all the way back to the beginning beginning. I don't know how I feel about that, and I don't know what voice I need to be listening to, what instinct I need to be listening to. Yeah, this has been an interesting one. I don't even know at this point. And I wish that I had like a happier note to end on, but I feel like I just have to document how it's going, and this is how it's going. So theoretically next Tuesday I'll have the video up in which hopefully I will have made a decision about my strategy and then potentially carried it out for an entire week. But we shall see. Until then, go be happy, go be healthy, and go write if you can. Bye.